It's the Evan edition. The Evan edition. The Evan edition. The Evan edition. It's the Evan edition. The Evan edition. The Evan edition. The Evan edition. It's the Evan edition.
Welcome back to the Evan edition. I'm your host, Evan Bernstein, and I'm joined again today with Zach from Zach Attack Reviews. How are you, my friend?
I'm doing good. I'm excited. You sent me the list of what we're talking about today, and I'm super duper excited to break all this stuff down.
You
Have a
know,
fun conversation.
it's kind of crazy, building this set list of all this DC talk when we've been living in the world of the MCU for so long. And just as you're building it out, you're already being like, wow, like, look at how the conversation, like, we're seeing it in front of our eyes. Like, because the question was always, is DC ever going to have a comeback? Is it always going to be Marvel? What's going to make it happen? And now we are in the midst of the conversation kind of turning more towards, I guess, more opportunity on the DC side because it's new and it's fresh and exciting and the movie did well. And so it's interesting as I built this out, I'm like, oh, this is all DC topics. That's kind of new for me. You know what I mean?
For the first time in a long time, usually you get one DC topic. It's about an actor dropping out of something, a director dropping out of something. And if you notice, we've been kind of getting those conversations on the Marvel side. Definitely. More often now about directors and actors dropping out of stuff. So they're like, it's a flip now, where it's like Marvel kind of has the DC stench on there, where anything they do, it comes with some vitriol. No matter what, if it's a positive project or not, is people are up in arms about everything Marvel's doing right now.
And that comes with the territory of succeeding and winning for so long. I mean, we're going to get into it too, because, this is the first year in 17 years that a DC movie was the highest grossing comic book movie for the box office. So I can't wait to get into it because it's very reminiscent of like when a team goes on a championship run for 10 years and then they're in the middle of a rebuild and another team is reminiscent of that young, hungry team that started winning ships. So it's very interesting how it turns into that. And so, I can't wait to get into it. We have that. We're going to talk a little bit about, Matt Reeves speaking a little bit on if it's, if a Robin will work in the Batman 2. I know James Gunn shut it down, but it doesn't mean we can't talk about what that might look like.
Yeah.
And then we're going to talk about Margot Robbie potentially coming back as Harley Quinn because James Gunn did not shut that down, which speaks a little bit loudly. And then we're going to talk a little bit about, releasing Superman on VOD, what that does for the movie, what that means for theaters in general. So there's a lot of good things to talk about, and they're all very DC related. Before we get into everything, since we last spoke, I have been posting, and I'm sure you've seen it, like, so many shorts, YouTube shorts, quick takes, stuff like that. And with that, I've seen that it's opened up a lot more opportunity for community to comment, and some might not be as constructive as others. Some might be a little rude or a little, I don't know. Like when you open yourself up to this, you open yourself up to the internet. And as we know with the internet, all hell can break loose. So I'm definitely seeing that. So I do want to keep in mind, you guys, these are just our opinions. Everyone has their own opinion. This stuff is subjective. So as long as you have your opinion and you're respectful about it and you want to have a conversation, please join in on the conversation, because that is what it's all about. And, the toxic stuff, the arguments back and forth, that stuff can be left at the door, because that makes it not fun. And this stuff is so fun. Like, as I'm preparing the show, I keep thinking to myself, like, we have all this live stuff going on, and not everything is rainbows and sunshine, that you see on screen. But
Yeah.
when I'm getting ready to do the show, I get giddy because
Yeah.
we get to talk and nerd out with like-minded people about this stuff that we love. And so I get it. You're passionate. You guys love this stuff in your own way. Everything hits differently. But remember that everything hits differently for everyone. So let's try and respect each other, and let's try and have some good, constructive conversations, because the point of a great conversation is not agreeing, right? So
Yeah.
I just want to say that because I've been seeing a lot. I had a video pop off pretty hard on TikTok of the introduction of Supergirl, and people had a lot of opinions and a lot of thoughts. So just want to put that out there because we're going to get into DC. I know for me personally, I sway more Marvel. I've always been a Marvel kid. I'm pretty sure with Zach, it's the same thing growing up, lean
Well,
towards
more kind of
Marvel
50-50.
or in the
50-50.
middle. That's great. That's
Yeah.
fantastic. But I've always, it's never been a one or the other. There's
Yeah.
too many good things to be biased. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? So either way, we win. But I just wanted to put that out there. So before we get into the DC stuff, I wanted to talk to Zach because I finally got to see on Tuesday the hit horror movie of the summer, Weapons. And that's saying a lot because there's been a lot of hit horror movies. And so
Yeah. Just this year.
just this year, 2025 is a fantastic year for horror films. It will go down and be talked about years later about horror films that came out during 2025.
Yep.
I wanted to talk a little bit about Weapons. I put spoiler in there just in case anything slips out. I know Zach and I can talk about our feelings about this without spoiling it, but we just wanted to put the warning up in case you haven't seen it and you want to skip it. And then once this banner goes down, you can pop back in or unmute us, whatever you want to do. If you're listening, hopefully you're listening to us.
Hopefully you've seen it already. You know, it's been 2 weeks.
Yeah.
You definitely should have went and seen this already.
2 weekends worth.
2 weekends. Yeah.
That's true.
This is a must watch.
It is a must watch. And I was thinking a lot about it. And I just want to talk a little bit about why I think it works. And for me, it's really a 3-pronged thing. And so I just want to go through what I think is why Weapons works so well and what I was thinking as I was watching this movie, as I was just so highly entertained. One, this world is so lived in. It feels the texture of it, the characters, it feels lived in the world building that he did in such a subtle way, Zach Kreger.
Yeah.
I think that is what felt like, wow, I already know this world. I already feel like I'm a part of it, like a part of this community. And so that was one of the things I thought really worked, was that it felt lived in. The next thing that I thought worked was the way that he's told the story, allowing perspectives from multiple characters telling the same story gives you a lot of these aha moments where it might necessarily click while you're watching one of the person's point of views, but then you see another person's point of view and you're like, aha, that's why this person was doing this, or that's why that was there already. And so I think with Zach Kreger telling the story from the different perspectives, it really like pulled you into the story and allowed you to have these moments where you're like, oh, as you're going through the movie. And I thought that really worked. On top of that, my third thing, and it's very curious, casting. Zach Kreger initially told us, literally, these are the cast members that I had in mind for the characters, and they are very different and very, very good actors. So you're wondering, okay, like he didn't get to use all of them. He used one who was fantastic, by the way. Yep. But he had such a specific mindset. Like, how's it going to work? The characters in that the actors inhabited, they are the reason that they felt real. The casting was perfect down to the smallest characters. It was so good. And that, I think, is what added to the texture of the film. And so really, I think for me personally, those three things are what stood out most, is the lived in world, the way that he told it from the different perspectives, and the actors that he casted for the movie, I think is what made this movie work really well. What about you, Zach? Tell me a little bit. We haven't got to dive into it. What do you think?
Yeah. Just to piggyback off of each of your points, I think the whole lived in world aspect is the movie opens up saying this is based on a true story. So the way he opens it, the way he layers it, and the way he uses real life feelings and perspectives and motifs, I think that's why it easily feels so lived in, because this feels like a world we live in right now, but just slightly off to the side, right? Like a adjacent world where some weird shit is happening in it.
Yeah.
But he does a really good job of taking like events that happen in real life, like a school shooting, and layering that in missing children. Like we've all seen missing children reports. We've all seen school shootings, or not seen, but know about those things, and we know how people feel after that. He really captured all that in the beginning of the film, and it creates a automatic realism and intensity. And then when you're talking about shifting perspectives, I love movies. And so this movie had a cheat code in my heart already when it tells different plot lines and then they all kind of cross over in the end. I love films like that. That's like my favorite storytelling technique. And he does it a real good job here of fleshing out all the characters, why they act the way they act, and kind of giving you hints of what is actually going on without throwing it in your face. So it keeps you intrigued. It doesn't hold your hand, which is really, really important. Definitely. It never is too slow, because sometimes some mystery movies, sometimes you're ahead of the movie and you're waiting for it to get to where you're at. I was always lagging behind this film. I was like, what the hell is happening?
What's next? Yeah, like
what is going to happen? Yeah, I was never in my head like, I already know where this is so predictable. I know where this is going. I never felt like that. So I think in terms of the way he told the story, I think he did a really great job there. And another aspect is a lot of filmmakers make films to appease the general audience, as many people as possible.
Right.
But there's certain things that are unexplained in this film. And then when Zach Cregger went on his tour and talked about that, he said, I just felt it was right. I don't know why I did that.
Yeah.
And I think that was a thing back in the day where directors and writers would just do things visually that felt right, but didn't necessarily have a grounded reason why. So it's like the gun with the 217.
It wasn't about this. It was just about story. Like,
it's about story, and he's like, this just feels like this should happen right now, right? Yeah. He doesn't have a reason. He doesn't know why. He feels like everybody's going to interpret it a different way, and I thought that was great, because most films feel so manufactured, especially ones that release in theaters.
Yeah,
that is a great feeling to watch something that feels like an artist is just working through themselves. So I think that's great. And then casting, like you think about the people that he was supposed to have, I think the movie still would have been great. I think the movie would have been slightly different in terms of how I think
was Brian Tyree Henry supposed to be the teacher?
Yeah, he was supposed to be the principal.
Supposed to be the he was. Oh, he was the principal. He was
the principal. Yeah, Wongers.
Okay.
Which, like, when I thought about that, I was like, yeah, Brian Tyree Henry can play that role in a similar fashion.
And I can see Pedro as Josh Brolin's character. Who was supposed to be Julia Garner's character?
I don't know how to say her name. She's been in a bunch of stuff. She was the worst person in the world.
Harold Weapons? No.
Oh my God! What's her name? Her name is Renee.
World Girl. Yes.
Renesev.
Okay.
Yeah. So one thing I'll say about those, Pedro and her, they are really good at giving likability to really terrible people. So I think that the movie would have felt a little different if they were there, because Josh Brolin was just an asshole, and there was nothing really like likable about him being an asshole. And then Julia Gardner kind of comes like, not off-putting, but she's just like, get away from me kind of thing, right?
She is one. I mean,
when she plays those type of characters.
I want to be, being a teacher is a very, very hard job. I want to be respectful, but these Midwest kind of teachers that, we've seen stuff on in the news, you know what I mean? Like, And you see it everywhere. So I don't want to be biased. I don't want to be a coastal elite. Don't put it on me, but I am a coastal elite. But you know what I mean? Like it felt real. Like I could I've seen that teacher and I could see that teacher. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
That's
exactly.
how it felt, you know?
So I think the way they play these characters worked for the story really well. The old cast probably would have been great as well, but I really like the people that were in here. And also, Pedro's been in 5 movies this year already. He didn't need another one of him playing the disgruntled dad.
Yeah.
He did that in Freaky Tales.
I'm like, I just saw Freaky Tales. That was the same character, you know?
Yeah, he did it in Edmonton. He did it. He does it a lot. You know what I mean? That's becoming his thing. He has another movie next year, kind of doing it with Mandalorian and Grogu, you know, so I'm glad that he skipped out on this one.
Austin Abrams is gonna blow up James, you know, and obviously, you know, Zach Kreger has found his Leo in Austin Abrams, and you know, a little bit of Justin Long. You know, he loves
Justin Long too.
Justin's the big horror guy, so he loves this stuff. So he's like, I'll be in yours again. But I feel like Austin Abrams is now Zach's muse. He's using him in Resident Evil. He's the only one that stayed on from the original cast of Weapons. He's the only one that was like, no, I'm holding out. I'll wait till you get it together.
It makes sense. He's not that big of an actor. So like when you think about all these other actors that were involved that had to leave, they all have stuff to do, right? Like Brian Tanner's always doing stuff.
Yeah.
So Austin Abrams is still on up and coming, and I think him doing this role, the way he was such a standout, it made sense for him to hold out on this one because he shined so much.
Yeah, no, I mean, he has been quietly crushing it for a while, whether it's like This Is Us or that show Dash and Lily. I think it was like on Netflix. It's like a love story. But this dude has been like in Euphoria, but it was, you know, a minor role,
smaller part. But
he is just quietly having like these transformative Walking Dead hella long ago. He shot
Carl.
Yeah,
almost can't forgive him for that.
He is exactly. And so I forgive him now after the Weapons performance, but he has been quietly gaining momentum in his career, and I really think we will look back at him and be like, Weapons was his coming out party. Like, and I think Resident Evil will resonate with a lot of people. And so I'm really excited to see what Austin Abrams does next. And I really love that Zach Kreger has now, he found someone that he can kind of mold into whatever he's writing. He'll be like, oh, Austin will be great. I know
what he can do, so I can put him in this character. And Justin Long too. He has 2 of them, right? Like
Justin will be there too. Justin will definitely
so he has 2 guys where he like, you know, because Ari Aster has Joaquin Phoenix.
Yeah.
And Robert Eggers has William Dafoe.
Yep.
So these and
I mean, Scorsese,
Jordan Peele has Daniel Kaluuya. You know, so like you have to have these
Michael
guys
B. and Coogler.
Yeah.
You know, and Leo and De Niro for Scorsese. You know, he did 2 different generations of actors. And so I think it's great, that duo. And, you know, we've even seen it recently with James Gunn getting into it with David Cornsweet on set, and just how much that those duos matter. You know what I mean? Like when you work with someone and you're both passionate about it and you both care about something so much, but you come from it from different angles. I think it's so cool to see that. I think it was brave for James Gunn to put that out, but back on track, I'm just so excited to see, like, this made me so much more excited, like what Zach and Austin are going to do next with Resident Evil. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah. So,
and what I'm excited about this the most is that North American horror films don't normally do well internationally. This film, for its budget, is doing pretty well internationally. It made almost the same amount domestic that it did internationally, and it continued to do well internationally in the second weekend. And I'm hoping that we can have that crossover where foreign horror films do better here and our horror films do better over there. because I think
Definitely.
that'll be just really healthy, not only for the box office but for
Yeah.
horror films.
No, I think you're right. I think you're right. I think that is a good sign. It's a good
Yeah,
sign. And if anything, 2025 is the year to show that horror films can be global hits.
yeah,
You know what I mean? Or box office hits for that matter.
yeah.
Awesome. Well, is there anything else you wanted to share about weapons? I think that was pretty good. And I think you agreed with me. The three prong of it being, it's like butter. You know,
Yeah.
once Zach hits those, it was like, this is an instant classic to me. Like as I was watching it, I could feel that. And to be honest, you know, because my wife was so scared, she didn't want to go. As I was watching it, I'm like, she would like this. Like, this isn't too scary besides maybe
No.
some look away parts, you know, where
Yeah.
she simply look away. But this is a movie that I think she would end up actually enjoying at home. So I'm excited to see this have legs even beyond the theater when it goes to VOD, when it goes to streaming. I think it's going to be making money for a while.
Yeah. And I think this is a really good entry level horror film in terms of like
Definitely.
someone is not like, oh, I'm scared or I don't like heavy gore. You
Yeah.
can show them this and it's like, oh, this was fun, right? It still had some scares in there, but I'm not having nightmares or anything
Right.
like that.
And she watched Barbarian. So I'm like, you already know Zach Krager.
Oh, yeah.
And that
I think
one
Barbarian is scarier than this.
That is way out there compared to this. I mean, what's her name is scary from Weapons. What's her name?
Gladys.
Gladys.
Gladys. Yeah.
People are like, oh, like we want to see a movie with Gladys and Longlegs. Like,
yeah. We're building a team.
It
was
yeah.
them two, the lady from Substance
Yeah.
as well, and I forgot the other character.
Yeah, there was an idea to take a group of of extraordinary people and make
and make an evil group that's going to terrorize the world.
Justin Long with an eye patch. Zach Krager with an eye patch.
I would love a group of directors to pull that off. That would be amazing.
I think that'd be great. I think that'd be so sick. Ari Aster, the other one that you said,
Osgood Perkins.
Yeah, Osgood Perkins. What's Nosferatu?
Robert Eggers.
Yeah, Robert Eggers, Zach Krager. Like, you have a team, you know, and each movie will like push the same story forward.
Yeah.
And you get to see how each director will take the characters and do something different with them. That would be so sick.
That'd be sick.
That'd be dope. Okay. All right. We waxed poetic. Go see Weapons. Go see it in theaters. It's still in theaters. It hasn't been in theaters too long, so you guys have time, but this is a movie to see in theaters with a group of people because it is just a hell of a time and a great experience. Let us know what you think. Did you guys see it? Are you excited? Does this make you more excited? It wasn't any spoilers. We were really good. So drop a comment below and tell us how good we were at not spoiling it. Okay, guys, as we promised you, this is a very DC-centric episode. And unfortunately, we have to start that with a passing. Passing of an infamous actor who played an infamous DC character. And that is Terrence Stamp, who we've just found out has passed away at 87 years old. And it's DC centric. For those of you that don't know, this is General Zod.
Yeah.
This is our first representation on the big screen of General Zod, who was actually teased in the first Superman in 78, in the very beginning, in the opening, which was a very ballsy move to set up your villain for the sequel before the first one's even out. Very cool. And then the main villain, General Zod, in Superman 2. And he's been in a lot of other things. He has been around for a long time. Even his son is a fantastic director. If you don't know his son, it's I'm blanking on the name now, but him and Mary Sternbergen had a son together, and he's a director. He's really good. If I'm thinking of the same person, like really, really good. But unfortunately, we have lost an OG actor. So I just want to mention, Terrence, we love you. Rest in power. Is there anything that you remember Terrence Stamp from, or just want to give him a shout out about?
Yeah, he was fantastic in Superman 2, right? As Zod. That's my
Yeah.
first time like seeing the character, and even if you think about like iterations afterwards in animation, or even like Smallville trying to replicate that stoic nature he had
Yeah.
in there, and the way he spoke, this regal tone, and he's just
Mm-hmm.
been around in a lot of fun movies. Like you brought up that he's been in other stuff like Yes Man. He was in Star Wars. He was in the Miss Peregrine's Peculiar Children. Like he's played like a older man that's creepy in a,
I
a
mean,
lot of stuff.
that voice had
Yeah,
become iconic,
it's
like
very iconic.
what a great voice. And then a lot of people were shouting out the Limey, which
Yeah,
was a big, like Steven Soderbergh, like when he was first, getting his toes wet with directing, and it was something that really a lot of people loved. And so I know a lot of people were mentioning that at the time of his passing. And like you said off air, the Adjustment Bureau, which
underrated.
very underrated. Last Night in Soho, Murder Mystery, like he just
Wanted,
Wanted. He had big eyes.
Get
The list,
Smart. Like
and he was Jor-El in Smallville, which was like that's so
yeah,
cool.
oh yeah.
That's so cool to like bring it full circle with the OG actors, And
That's
so
the one thing DC does really well is bring
yeah,
people who used to be in one of the shows or movies and bring them forward as a different character.
I love that. And so I just love that his body of work, it was never one thing. He
No,
could be serious, he could do comedy, he could make fun of himself, he could do voice acting. Like it was such a Swiss Army knife for an actor. And so just because it's so DC centric, that's why but like Zod in general is really one of those first comic book movie villains that wasn't so much like mustache twirling, but like really like scared me as a kid.
yeah,
Like the way he spoke, the staunchness, and also he made it like being bald or balding okay, because like in that movie in 1980, it's like back here he's like, I don't care, I'm not fixing it, and they're like,
yeah.
we don't care either,
And he still
because
looks scary.
he was just still intimidating. And so I just shout out to Terrence Stamp. Our condolences to his family and friends and everyone that worked with him. Never heard anything bad about the dude. So yeah, I just wanted to, honor him as we start
Yeah.
our DC journey. Okay, guys, with that down, let's get into this. So over the past week, we've been hearing a lot about Robin. Is Robin gonna be in the Batman 2? James Gunn being like, that is false. We're the only ones that have read the script, so that is definitely not true. And then Josh Horowitz on Happy Sad Confused released a little tidbit which I posted and shared. If you guys haven't seen Happy Sad Confused, Josh Horowitz is the man. He asked the
Top of
questions
the line.
we always want to know. And
Yeah.
so he straight up said when he was interviewing Matt Reeves not too long ago, are we going to get Robin in the sequel? Could that even work? And so this comes to us from comicbookmovie.com. They say Gunn's post was a response to a report claiming that Robin was a part of the Batman 2 script. A lot of fans were hesitant to believe that director co-writer Matt Reeves would include this character in his sequel anyway, but the notion of the Boy Wonder showing up in the Batman verse movies probably isn't as far-fetched as you might think. A surface interview clip with Reeves' appearance on the Happy Sad Confused podcast started making his rounds once James Gunn tried to shut it down. And the filmmaker seemingly opened up the idea of why introducing Robin in the Batman 2 could work. Reeve spoke about his love for the classic 60s Batman series starring Adam West and Burt Ward, and explains how adding the Dark Knight sidekick to the mix could potentially make for an interesting story. He said, what did he say? So he basically was saying that adding Robin to Batman could potentially add more depth to the character, in the sense that, like, he doesn't want to do, like, okay, you saw early Batman, now in 2, he's polished, he doesn't have any lessons to learn, this is the Batman we all know and love. He was saying Robin is a good way to show that this Batman is still learning, taking someone under your wing, maybe feeling responsible for them, and something happens to them. He was really saying that, like, if we did use Robin, because he is a Robin fan from the 1960s TV series, that there is a way that he could do it that still fits into the Batman world and makes sense for Robert Pattinson's character. Based on, James Gunn kind of shutting it down, but then Josh Horowitz being like, I have a soundbite from Matt Reeves, who has kind of an idea of how it could fit in. What do you think of, in general, a Robin fitting into the Batman universe? Do you think it could work? And then what do you think about Matt Reeves' comments on it?
So first I gotta say, I don't trust anything James Gunn shuts down anymore.
Really?
After, I think, a year ago or so, they asked him, or there was like a report, there's a Middle Eastern conflict in Superman, and he said there's no such thing, and then we saw the movie and there was. So I'm just like, all right, dude, I get it. You want to keep stuff secret, but so, like, I gotta say, I think that having Robin in the Batman 2 is twofold, right? One, it's a natural progression of the way the first movie ended, right? He realized he doesn't want to be vengeance and revenge. He wants to be hope. And we see that little kid grab onto him. The sunlight flickers behind him. He's doing heroism in the broad daylight, that kind of thing. Symbolism, like, he's going to be a hero for people. He's going to try to inspire hope while still being Batman, right? He's not going to turn to Superman. And it makes sense for the next step is to someone be inspired and try to be a vigilante as well. And that's how you incorporate a Robin. Someone being reckless, trying to do what Batman does, and Batman is forced to take a Dick Grayson or whoever they decide to go with, if they do this, under their wing, because they're not going to stop, right? Like, you have this character who is not going to stop doing it. It could be a thing of, like, he seems like he's doing it for good reasons, but then he's really doing it to get revenge because of the Flying Graysons thing that happened. You can tie that in and get the comic.
100%. Yeah. I mean, you can do a Jason Todd thing, and he's like on the street, and he's a street, you know what I mean? Like, sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off.
No, you're right.
I'm just saying, like, there are, it's funny. A year ago, I was kind of turned off by the idea, like, it's too soon, like, he's still a young Batman, like, how young is this Robin going to be, like 10 years old, you know what I mean? But and then incorporating Robin into Batman the Brave and the Bold around the same time, like, that is a conflict as well. But as you're telling me that it's a natural progression for Robert Pattinson's Batman, it's making more and more sense that for his journey and where he's at and what happened in the first one, in the first one, we saw villains be inspired by his vengeance for the city, and he pulls off the mask of the Riddler fanboys, and they're like, I'm vengeance. Now we're seeing that he's becoming a symbol of hope, and these are the type of people that he's inspiring on the good side, on the side that wants to make a difference, that also wants to inspire hope. And so I feel like you're right. It is, now that you put it together like that, it is a very natural progression from the Batman 1 to the Batman 2. Yeah.
And then you can incorporate a scary villain that is tied into it, that something that a Robin shouldn't be involved with. So it gives that intensity. It gives that fear of, like, oh, this kid might die. Because I don't mind Robin being 10 or 11 years old. He plays. He's around a couple years after that. Maybe he's old enough to get into the Teen Titans. Obviously, they're not going to do all that.
Like a 12, 13. Like that's not. If he's like 26, right? That's 13 years. That what I mean? Like that's not.
Yeah.
Because Batman and Robin, they were always kind of like brothers. Like this was like his older brother. It wasn't. Some people play it like as a father figure type.
But
person.
eventually. Like when he becomes Nightwing, that's when he's like, "You're my dad."
Yes, like I got to listen to my dad which is why he leaves him, to start his own thing. It's a very much, but there are some that portray it, like the '60s one, like he was saying, where like they live together, they're like bachelors, like they're more like contemporaries than his elder statesman and his son figure. So I do believe you're right that age is just a number. And there is a way for sure.
There's definitely a way. I feel like they're not going to want to do it because James Gunn has already announced Brave and the Bold, and there's going to be, they already have a Nightwing and Red Hood animated movie coming out that's going to be tied into the DCU. So we're going to have it's the multiple characters. We already have multiple Batmans, and then he already did Catwoman. He already did Riddler. There's like so many iconic characters. He did Joker. So many iconic characters that Reeves has already touched upon that I can see why earlier in this year James Gunn said I'm having difficulty writing Batman because I have someone doing it so well over here. Mm-hmm. Now I have to find a way to do it without it being similar so that they can coexist together.
He even said in that interview, there's already, everyone has done a Batman story. There's so many stories that have already been told. So he's like kind of like venting to us secretly that it's difficult to find the right story when so many Batman movies have happened. He's trying to start another Batman movie in his universe. So it's funny, but when you were describing, the Robin character and what could happen with him, it was making so much sense that, the Killing Joke storyline where he kind of gets a little bit too big for his bridges, Jason Todd goes out on, to get Joker on his own, ends up getting killed, and Batman feels that guilt, right? Yeah, he kills him with the crowbar.
He kills
right?
Todd.
Yeah. Because he also cripples Batgirl. With the, so
wheelchair bound.
And so as you were saying it, I was seeing like, wow, what a great, like I could see Matt Reeves play with that storyline in his universe seamlessly. The Killing Joke with killing Robin because he, thought he could do it on his own, didn't listen to Batman, goes out, tries to get Joker on his own, and ends up getting killed. And then in the third one, the situation comes with the Red Hood. You know what I mean? Like it's leaning a little bit too comic booky because Matt Reeves likes to keep it grounded. But I believe if anyone could do it grounded, it's him. So I could see that being a great storyline to adapt.
And no one's streamline it down where Joker's the one that killed Dick Grayson's parents, or Joker's the reason why Jason Todd's on the street. To have that connection there is like, this is the man I've been trying to get this whole time.
100%.
That's why he's so forceful in trying to get the Joker. And then we already know this Joker is even more demented than we usually see. Got the bubbly back of his head. He looks crazy. Yeah, he looks worse than Heath Ledger's Joker in terms of like how nasty he looks.
He's messed up. Yeah,
he's messed up.
That's what happens if you get dumped in acid. Like they actually showed it. Like you ain't
gonna
look
be handsome.
Yeah, no, you're not gonna be Jared Leto. Sorry, doesn't come out like that. Like perfect, just green hair and flowing.
Yeah,
So that's what I thought that would be good to talk about because I think you're right. I think the one thing that could be holding it up is James Gunn not having a Robin. And I know, he likes to let writers do his thing, like blah, blah, blah. But this is a little bit stickier situation because you have your own Batman to build, your own Robins to build.
Just make this his Batman.
It might be
he just needs to be the DCU Batman.
It would make sense, and we'll see. I mean, I wouldn't be
Just
mad
promise
about it.
Matt Reeves when we do crossovers, we won't do anything extreme to Batman. I think that is fair, right? Like
Yeah,
they did extreme things to the Guardians of the Galaxy, and I think
he did not like.
he didn't like that. And I can see James Gunn not liking that. He can promise to certain directors who deserve it, like a Matt Reeves. This movie made $700 and something million.
Yeah.
Hey, let's join the DCU. You don't have to go, you don't have to change the way your world is. We can just have this is how Gotham is. Economical is not like how Metropolis is. And that's why it's kind of like not as advanced or whatever, right? Because all the crime and all of the stuff, blah 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 blah. You can explain it in word salad. When we use Robert Pattinson, we will not do anything drastic. We won't kill a Robin. We won't cut his arm off. We won't
have
do
him
any
be
story revelations
for the Batman parts. You know what I mean? Like, just be the Batman, not coordinator, but you know what I mean? Like, consultant. You know, like be the Batman consultant. And when your Batman's on there, but at the same time, I'm like trying to think of like, it would be kind of comic booky and jokey because it's like, you see you're leaving Metropolis and it's all bright, and then in like the forefront you see it's like all dark and like like
and bats are just coming out.
Yeah, bats are coming out, and then you see like Superman arrive in there. He's like glowing because he's so bright, and everything else around him is dark. Like it would be kind of funny.
And Batman's just like, what the hell?
Yeah, he's like, oh God, dude, I just woke up and this is daytime and it looks like night. Yeah, so it's very interesting. I mean, I don't know. Let us know what you guys think. You know, do you think that a Robin can work in the Matt Reeves Batman universe? Do you even want him to use that if that's what they're going to do? Or do you think maybe it should just be Robert Pattinson's younger Batman story and Robin should be left for an older Batman, maybe in the DCU? Drop a comment below and let us know your thoughts.
I know we just finished the topic.
Yes.
But just something just popped in my head just now.
Tell me.
Can you imagine, and I know this is not going to happen, but imagine the possibility, because you said younger Batman story. Imagine if we get 3 Reeves movies, Robert Pattinson's Batman.
We better.
1, 2, 3. He's all younger. He gets to like, say, 35. And then we switch over to Brave and the Bold, and it's the same Batman with a different actor, but he's just older. And now we're starting the older Batman with a Robin and stuff like that. Like a time jump happens.
I could see that. It would be confusing maybe for the audience in the sense that like it's not Robert Pattinson anymore, but it's the same. And also that just ended. And also timeline wise, like Superman is such a big win for them, which we're about to talk about.
Yeah.
That they want their own Batman very soon. Almost as soon as like maybe we'll see him on Peacemaker. I don't know. Maybe that's the big cameo, is that it introduces Batman. Like that would be jaw dropping.
That'd be insane.
That would be insane. But these guys always say we're never gonna make the show's homework, blah blah blah. It's like, bitch, you just said that Peacemaker is gonna set up the rest of the DCU. Why are you messing with us so much?
Also, I do think putting Batman in a DCU show is not a good idea, because now it's going to set an idea that this is a thing that's going to happen in all the shows.
Yeah. No, I agree. I mean, you know, he did it with, you know, Wonder Woman, Barry, and Aquaman and Superman, but no Batman. And I just think. But they've put Batman on a lot of TV shows in the past 10 years, a lot more than I thought they would ever do. And so I don't know, man. I don't know. But what I do know is that you're right. James Gunn has to play the devil's advocate and basically tell them like, we're doing that just to let you know, like I'm sure he's not telling him what to write, but he's like, hey, like, I'm just giving you an idea of like, this is where we're at with our Batman. There's no
gotta
way
be a boss. He's like, this
him.
is your sandbox. This is what you get to play in. Have your idea. hey, you can't do that. Like that's kind of, you have to make the hard choice. If it pisses Matt Reeves off, maybe that's why this has been taking so long. Obviously, I've heard Matt Reeves had some health scares,
Yeah,
but maybe
yeah,
he did have a Robin in his original script, and James Gunn was like, "Sorry, buddy, you got to rewrite that."
yeah. Maybe. I mean, it's not easy being the head of studio and a creative who
Yeah,
just launched the studio creatively at the
yeah.
same time. Like that is hard. And if I know anything about Batman, my wife's making me get rid of it.
What? Why?
It might be too big for this thing is huge, bro. Like I'm
But it
telling
looks so
you,
cool. Why are you
it,
getting rid of it?
I love it so much because I just go in here, sit on this, like we got this mint green couch, and I just look at it like I'm in a, Batman museum. They have a Batman museum in San Francisco with all the suits. I don't know if it's still there. It was sick.
That
It's
sounds dope.
yeah, it was near Pier 39 kind of. It was awesome. I don't know if it's still there, but it was there even through COVID of it all. Way off topic. So, yeah, I might have to. There's a like 7-inch one of the same thing. So this might shrink in the next couple of weeks.
Okay, that's fair.
To be fair, she probably won't like this either, but I'm looking at a replacement of Henry Cavill's Superman statue. He's flying with the cape, about to punch. I'm like, it's smaller. Don't tell her. She'll probably watch this. I'm like, are you watching right now? It says 0, so good. No one's watching. This is the only reason. This is the only good thing that when people don't watch is that my wife isn't watching. No. Okay, guys. Let's get into it. You guys have seen the main topic in the title. DC has finally beat Marvel at the box office. And what we mean by that is the last time a DC movie beat a Marvel movie in the box office in a single year was in 2008, and it was The Dark Knight. So now it is Superman's time because basically, Superman's still in theaters, still making money. So is Fantastic Four, but it has basically been beaten out at this point and makes it physically impossible to catch up to Superman for Fantastic Four. I want to read this because this comes from Superhero Hype, who I really love. They write some great articles. You guys should definitely check them out. They say, as the successful run of the new Superman movie continues, it is slated to replicate box office records set by The Dark Knight. Notably, the latter came out in 2008 and was the highest grossing movie of the year, earning over $1 billion globally. James Gunn's Superman is on its way to becoming the highest grossing movie superhero feature of 2025, beating several Marvel cinematic projects. This year, as we know, Marvel Studios released Captain America: Brave New World, Thunderbolts, and the Fantastic Four: First Steps. While the first two turned out to be commercial disappointments, the last one, which came out on July 25th, 2025, is still in theaters. And it did very well for its opening. However, after experiencing a 66% drop in its second weekend, it has made it a little bit less likely that the Fantastic Four was going to make the money that they thought it would do after such a strong first weekend. This means that Superman will likely become the first DC feature since The Dark Knight to beat Marvel at the box office. Why am I so excited? Because this is awesome, because we both win. You know what I mean? Like, I am a big Marvel guy, but I'm a big Batman, Superman, Young Justice fan. Like, it's like stupid to be biased when it comes to this stuff. We win either way. And it's just nice to see another person on top. Like, yes, it's great. We've gotten great movies from Marvel. They've been on top for so long, but us comic book fans know there is so much more they can do with DC, that the DC EU, for as good as it was, because it was not bad, even though there's haters that will hate on it, and that's fine. I get it. But there was a part of DC fans that knew there's a way to do this differently, like Marvel, but its own way that can reach a wider audience and make all the monies.
Yeah.
And so now that we're finally seeing it, it makes me happy to be like, this is what Superman can be. It's not about beating Marvel, but it's about like a great movie that the general audience love, because that means we get more. And so I found it very interesting that this is the beginning of Iron Man's box office and the run of MCU for the past 18 years almost. Crazy to say that. And this is the beginning of the DCU's run with Superman. And the numbers, even though it's going up for Superman, don't look too far off. So I just wanted to put that up there as just a beautiful passing of the torch, if you will. Not saying that Marvel's done. Not saying that, these two won't be making films for the next 20 years, because they definitely will be for
Hopefully.
the next 100 years. Hopefully. But it means a lot for the studios, respectively. And so I've talked enough. I want to get into it, but I want to hear your thoughts first. I want to hear for you, what does this win mean for DC? And what does this loss mean for Marvel Studios?
The win means everything, because it justifies all the chaos of this changeover. Henry Cavill announcing that he was coming back, then getting let go because that was a mistake. The whole debacle with dropping a bunch of DC movies while announcing the universe is getting reset, and so basically sending those movies out to die and just hurting all those actors and everybody behind it. It's really hard to make a movie. And all those shows that were being made and all the shows that got canceled. Superman and Lois got canceled for this new universe. We're reconfiguring Batman stuff and talk about what's going to happen with the Batman because of this new universe. There's certain shows that are not being made anymore because of this universe. So this movie being a win and being the first commercial and critically acclaimed win that DC's had in a long time, it's an absolute win. It's not reviewed as great by the critics as maybe you would want, and it's not the highest box office ever. Everybody thinks Superman has to make $1 billion every time, and this is more like a Batman Begins than a Dark Knight, but did a good job of establishing Christopher Nolan's universe. And even if you didn't watch it right away, you saw it, huh?
I put on Batman Begins last night, late night. Yeah. It's such a great movie that people forget about because The Dark Knight is just so infamous with Batman now.
Yeah.
But it's like, dude, what Christopher Nolan was doing with that movie, similar to Matt Reeves in a lot of ways, he took it to the next level, but that wasn't happening. And so it's so interesting, and sorry to cut you off. It's so interesting in 2008 that Iron Man came out and Dark Knight came out, because it was two movie films that changed the landscape. Superhero movie films that changed the landscape of superhero movie films till today. And so it's quite incredible. Before you, I have this image I wanted to show you. I want to get your take though, before we move on, because I know we got a lot of other stuff to get into, and I got some ribeye to barbecue tonight. Let's go. What does this mean for Marvel Studios?
It's a clunk on the head. It's hey guys, you can't just put stuff out and expect the audience to come. And also shows like this is what your fan base is now. Like this money range, this $3 to $4 to $500 million range is where you're at now when it comes to solo movies. Doesn't matter what the name is, doesn't matter who the stars are, doesn't matter who writes it. These are the people that are going to show up first week, and then the general audience members that are going to trickle in. And I heard someone say this, and I want to piggyback off of it. Marvel is like a long running TV show that goes for 20 seasons.
That's how I saw it.
if you notice, their budgets go down after a while because they know they have their established fans and they know they're not bringing any more new people. So they bring the budgets down completely. They even maybe lose cast members. Marvel is at a point now where you have your established fans and you're most likely not going to be bringing in any new people for a long time, but they're bringing the budgets up. They need to bring these budgets down to make these movies profitable, because for overall these three movies that they drop aren't bad movies. You know what I mean? They're not bad films. All of them have their problems or whatever, but every movie has problems. But your fan base went to see it, and now you don't have the general audience no more because it's so long running. People have just jumped off the ship to move on, and they have to reconfigure. They either have to start over, which I think is going to happen soon, or
Like a
configure
DC?
these budgets for what the reality is right now. So I think this is a wake-up call for Kevin Feige and his team, that you can't just do whatever you want to do. And also, I think the big thing is bring back focusing on specific comic book storylines. You don't have to execute them exactly how the comic book did it, but that is what got fans excited. That was what got general audience excited because the fans were excited about these particular stories. And you just doing stories within the MCU and not pulling from the comics anymore is not cutting it.
I think you're right. It is a huge wake-up call because now Marvel can really see, now that they have compared to another big studio who's pumping out superhero movies and is about to pump out a lot more, that you are not the leader in front of the charge anymore. That even though the last couple movies you have pivoted a little bit, you lowered, the budgets of the movies a tad, you've, gotten lesser known actors to pay them a little less, it still isn't enough based on what you're getting out of the box office, unfortunately. So it is a wake-up call. On top of that, you now have a mirror to see what you looked like 16 years ago, because now that is what the DCU looks like. The DCU looks like what you guys looked like in 2008. You have a movie that more people went to see than most DCU movies in the past 5 years or so. Sans not, Matt Reeves is not connected. And now you see that rebooting it, because this is a reboot of the DCEU, now the DCU, how much wiggle room and breathing room it gives you when you do a big reboot like this and you start casting, David Cornsweet, $750,000. Rachel Brosnahan, $750,000. Nicholas Hoult, $2 million. Now you're saying, we have not only the benefit of storytelling, we have the benefit of keeping budgets down and giving new and upcoming actors the opportunity to inhabit the heroes that everyone loves. Because, it might be a little jarring at first, but these characters have existed for almost 100 years. Like, there's going to be a million Batmans. There's going to be a million Spider-Mans. So it's like, yes, I get it. You're a little precious of Downey and Chris Evans and Chris Hemsworth. But at some point, it is more beneficial for storytelling, for cost effectiveness, and for general audience to get excited again by rebooting it than continuing to drag it out, trying to add more storyline. We've even seen this with television shows. I want to point out, and I bet nobody has done this when they talk about superhero movies, but I remember How I Met Your Mother was huge. People in the first 4 seasons were like, this is the next Friends. Like, this is so good. Around season 5, I started to get kind of tired of it. I stopped watching. They drug that thing out 9 seasons. I saw the end of 9 seasons, just the last episode. It was like I never missed 5 seasons of show that I never watched. So I would use that as an example and say, like, there needs to be a point, and we're going on almost 18 years, right, with Marvel, where there's a hard reset and everything's fresh and exciting again. And
Yeah.
we've seen the excitement with Fantastic Four being in a different universe, not being connected to the MCU, and how fresh that felt and how natural it felt.
Yeah.
And now you get to run with that, and you get to mirror DC, who is now in charge.
Yeah. And you talk about the budgets in terms of David Cornswell getting paid $750. You cross that over with Pedro Pascal getting paid $10 million because he's such an established actor, right? Like he's a star. So David Cornswell's not. So, and then you can imagine like Vanessa Kirby's also established. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So like you get
Yeah.
to, when you do this reset and you cast these new young
Quinn and
actors.
Eben,
Yeah.
or but no, I see what you're saying. Like Pedro is your biggest.
Yeah.
Because you need a draw, right? You need at least a draw. I wanted to show you this graphic really quick, okay? Can you see it, or is it really tiny?
It's kind of tiny, but I can kind of see it.
All right.
That's Quantumania, Volume 3.
So
Blue
this
Beetle.
is from 2023.
Okay.
And this is when the cracks started, okay? Because, and this is cracks for Marvel, because back then, anyone would love a $476 million movie, but now we start to see a big difference in their movies. One's at 400, one's at 800, and so you're starting to see these huge discrepancies. However, you're still seeing them beat the DC movies that are coming out, right? So Shazam, The Flash, Blue Beetle, of course, strikes, pandemic, delays, stuff like that can hurt it. But this is really the year where we're starting to see these cracks with Marvel. It might not be so subtle because they're like, hey, we're still beating DC. Our movies are number one. And so I just found that this graphic was so interesting because it really shows you this kind of changing of the guard already starting a little bit. I mean, even The Flash, for all its issues, didn't make a terrible amount of money. You know what I mean? And so you start to see this shift. Now that we're in 2025, you're starting to see, like we're starting to look like Iron Man. We're starting to look more like this is the beginning of something new and exciting for DCU. Like this is only the beginning. And so I found it interesting that like you see the cracks in 2023, and now we've arrived at 2025 where we can hand, the winner trophy to the DC universe for the first time since The Dark Knight.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So it's crazy.
It's kind of crazy. Well, I guess I don't want to skip over Joker, right? Didn't that make $1 billion as well?
Yeah, but it was in the same year as Endgame.
Oh. Yeah, that you ain't beating Endgame. That's true.
No. I definitely looked it up. Trust me. I'm like, wait a minute, and I'm like, oh wait, 2019.
Yeah, that was Endgame.
Oh, you can't go against Endgame.
Yeah. No.
God, Endgame is so good, dude.
Good.
We've been having it on. I've been going through Spider-Man a lot because of all the pictures, and so put on Amazing Spider-Man 2 just for that relationship between him and Gwen is so powerful, and then
the swinging scenes.
Swinging alone is so good, and Andrew's so good, and the movie's not good, but there are great parts that I'm not going to turn away from all the other people that did great work just because of these choices. You know what I mean? Like that's BS. Like I can watch something and dissect it like I'm watching it for this, I'm watching it for him, instead of like that movie's ass, I'm never watching it again. It's like, well, there's people that crushed it, dude. Like, like the relationship alone, other Spider-Man movies can learn from. Not throwing any jabs or anything, but I found it amazing that even when they got $1 billion film in 2019 with the Joker, they still lose to Endgame. They couldn't get over it until Don't get you slipping though. They started slipping, and
Yeah.
so now that they've slipped, this is and so what I would like to say before we move on, before my ribeye gets cold. No, I'm just kidding. Um, this is a big win for DC Studios.
Definitely.
And so I want to congratulate James Gunn and Peter Safran, my great friends. No, I'm just kidding. It's not easy to take over a studio that had all this baggage, all
Mhm.
this lost audience that fell off, and
Mhm.
then let us know this is what we're doing. We're being honest, we're being direct, follow through with it, put out something good, and have that audience start coming back. That is a big thing. So a big shout out to them, because that is a major win that should be celebrated. This whole
Yeah.
700, 800, if it's not a billion, it's not successful. That is not true. This is now deemed a very successful win for the studio.
Even if it didn't make a ton of money, it's the
Yeah.
fact that it got so much
It's
positive buzz.
Yeah.
Right? It got people going, I like this movie. I'm excited for the future. We're making positive memes about, oh God, making positive memes.
Great timing.
We're making positive memes about it, not like negative memes. That is such a bad picture. I hope
I didn't even
that they
notice
fix Superman flying in the second movie. I did not like his flying in this movie.
I think it could be worked on a lot more. And I think the landings or the takeoffs could be worked on instead of boosh. I like the buildup of Man of Steel with the debris kind of floating up and then poof, the
it
realism.
feels important. It feels powerful when he goes back to the fortress. It was kind of like soup. It took away the urgency of like, oh my God, what happened over there? It was kind of, he's back and he's like, all right, what's going on?
Yeah, it seemed like nothing, and I get it. Speed of light, speeding train, all the Superman stuff, but
yeah, you got to slow it down for us.
I get it. I think there's so much more you can do, and I think there's so much more he will do, and that he did learn from this film. And I think the sequel, whatever it is, the Superman saga continues. Will be even better because of what he learned. I want to end it with this though. For how good of a win the box office win of Superman is for DC Studios, Supergirl needs to hit hard. Just because you have one win doesn't mean the work is done. I already know they know that there, but I'm just saying it's celebrate the win, but just like any championship team, get back to work once you're done celebrating because you have another championship to win. So
I think it's more important than Superman. And why I say that is because this character is very close to the depiction of the character that people know and love. Supergirl is not the depiction that we've been getting of this character, right? Like a lot of people, Supergirl is Melissa Benoist. A lot of people, Supergirl is the old movie from way back in the day. A lot of people, Supergirl is from the animated series. You know what I mean? So where she's like, she's not exactly like Clark, but she's similar in the positivity. This version from the comic here is a drug addict, she'll kill people. Like she's very different from what people are used to. So if they can get this as a win, get people on board, because I keep seeing stuff on like social media. Why is Supergirl drunk? If they can get all these people on board with this version,
I was just gonna tell you that. I've been seeing that too. Yeah,
that's going to be the real win when they can get people on board with a version of the character that is comic accurate. It's just not a comic that you may know. You know
what I saw a lot of. They were so nitpicky. Oh, by the way, can you hear my fan? And my fan, it's a little hot. Can you hear it?
No. Can you hear mine?
No.
Okay. Good.
What I noticed from the internet when it came to the Supergirl's appearance in Superman, they really did not like the technical aspect that once she passes the yellow sun, she should not be drunk anymore. And the post that I have a lot of people watching, the number one thing I saw that people were talking about was that she shouldn't be drunk by the time she gets back to Earth. That really rubbed them the wrong way.
That doesn't make any sense. Only because based in the movie's logic, Superman had to get a concentrated, extra potent version of the sun just to heal. So that means in this version of the character, just them being around the sun, we don't even know how she got back. She could have teleported. That means she might have never gotten into the direct sunlight. She teleported right into the fortress. Yeah. So she could have teleported right to the fortress, or she could have been in a spaceship. We don't know the exact way she got there. Point. And we realize in this film, Sun does not immediately just get him. Because even in the movie, when Metamorpho does the sun thing, that's a big concentrated piece of the sun once again directly on him. Not just up in the sky. It's like right in his face. And then he gets his powers back. So I think, and we also, Superman can get drunk on alien alcohol. It just has to be super, super strong. So
yeah, there's so many variables. Like, to focus on that, it's like, you guys, can you just enjoy that? Like, there is now a clear difference of Supergirl and Superman. That this one is bright and hopeful, and this one is depressed, drunk, and angry at what life has dealt her. And to have that juxtaposition of these two characters who are family, who are the lone Kryptonians on Earth, that is such great means for storytelling. So why don't we just be appreciative and happy that, like, this is a great jumping off point for a journey in a relationship between these two that we're going to see for many, many years to come. So
exactly,
let's just be thankful.
Exactly. I can't wait till we get maybe like a buddy cop film between the two of them.
That's what the sequel will be. 100%. It's going to be the annoying, and then it's gonna be Lethal Weapon, and the dog's going to be not Pacino. Oh man, I can't think. From Casino, and Scorsese's other guy, not De Niro, the short guy. Like, I'll break your freaking nose. Like,
I know what you're talking about.
Why can't I think of his name?
I can't think of his name.
It's so funny when you're doing this show. Like, just so you guys know, like, this isn't really like rehearsed. Like, sometimes I don't even show Zach what we're going to talk about, so it's like fresh off the dome.
Yeah,
I only showed it to him like last night late. So all the takes that you're getting from us are all like off the top of the dome of what we love, what we remember. So when you're trying to like put on a conversation in a show, it's so easy to like forget what you're going to say or remember later, like, oh, that's what I wanted to say when we were, you know what I mean? And so I love that you guys, and I'm talking into the ether, but I don't care. I love that you guys get to see like that this is a natural conversation off the top of the dome of two friends just talking about like what they love from the things that they're watching. And so it's so funny that like you can't remember names of like, and my family comes to me, texts me of actors' names. Like, I'm good at it. But when I'm like talking to Zach and I'm in it, I'm like, oh, who is the person?
Yeah, I was like, is he talking about Joe Pesci? I'm Googling right now.
Yeah, Pesci. Yeah, so Crypto's Pesci, like the one that you need him as a sidekick, but he annoys them. Like, it's right there, dude.
Yeah.
Okay, well, let us know what you guys think. Do you think that this is a wake-up call for Marvel, that they have a lot more to change up in order to start being back on top again? And do you think that this is a huge win for DC, but it's time to keep going off this momentum so you can get more wins? Drop a comment below and let us know what you think. All right, guys, we are almost done. We got 2 more topics. I know we got to get out of here. I know I was only supposed to be an hour. I was telling my wife, but I'm like, once the conversations go, bro, this is just, it's too fun to stop.
Yeah.
And we had to talk weapons. Like, we had like 20 minutes of weapons almost, because it deserves more time.
Good. And it's part of it, it's all Warner Brothers.
Yeah. Shout out Warner Brothers, sponsor us. This is another one I wanted to talk to you about a fit a fit with a character in a universe. And this has been coming up recently now that we're talking about James Gunn and the DCU. James Gunn recently was asked if Margot Robbie will return as Harley Quinn. Arguably one of the best castings of the DCEU during its entirety.
Comic book castings, period.
Comic book castings, period. I mean, it spawned every girl, for Halloween. Like, it's just such an iconic look at this point, which is a really beautiful part of the DCEU that doesn't get talked about a lot.
Oh, yeah, that's true.
And so I think some are still wondering, hey, like, this worked. Like, you used her in your Suicide Squad. Do you think that we could see her, Mr. Gunn? Well, Collider provided some information about what Mr. Gunn said. The future Harley Quinn in James Gunn's newly rebooted DC universe remains one of the biggest fans' questions. The co-head of DC Studios has been busy overhauling the on-screen DC world alongside Peter Safran. Recently launched the first chapter of his plan, Gods and Monsters, last month with Superman. And the film introduced a fresh-faced David Corenswet as the Man of Steel, replaced the Justice League with a corporate justice gang, and set the stage for new versions of Batman and Wonder Woman. But will Harley Quinn be recast? Or will we be getting Margot Robbie back? Well, I believe a hero asked the question that we all wanted to know on the red carpet for Peacemaker Season 2. And James Gunn responded with a very curious response. Did he flat outright say, no, we're recasting, we're rebooting? No, he did not. He said that will be revealed down the line. Dun, dun, dun. Dun, dun. So now that we got the most non-definitive answer you could ever get from Mr. James Gunn, who tells us like it is, who says Robin is not in it, who says Alan Richardson is not Batman, who straight up will tell us what's what, said we'll reveal it down the line. That is not a definitive no.
No.
So, Zach, my friend from Zach Attack Reviews, check it out, please. Very, very good channel. Great content. I want to ask you, would a Margot Robbie Harley Quinn work in the DCU? And is that something that you would want personally? Or do you think it's wise to just do the full recast, even though he's pigeonholing Peacemaker in, do the full recast and just clean sweep it, start over new? What do you think about this?
I think that you keep her. And the only reason is because it feels weird that every person is coming back over from the Suicide Squad movie except her. Like, he just recently said we're trying to figure out how to bring Idris Elba back. You know what I mean? So, like, just bring her back. We can ignore Jared Leto, right? Because we're ignoring so much stuff. We could just say, she has memories of having a fight with Joker. And then when you introduce your Joker here, it's a different person. And Margot Robbie is such a great actress that she can play in this tone, right? Like, I never seen her be in a tone and be like, oh, she didn't work there, right? She's in I, Tonya is different from Barbie. Barbie's different from Harley Quinn. Even the two different Suicide Squads have two different tones, and she's great in both, right? So
she can transform.
Heck, we talk about cameos. She could be the cameo in Peacemaker, and it would totally make sense. It would be huge to see her come back as Harley Quinn, and also it's not like Batman; it's just Harley Quinn. So,
pop, though, that's a big pop, right?
Yeah, it's a big pop. You just hear that laugh. You see her kind of cartwheel in and like, oh shit,
hey, Puddin'.
Yeah, and she starts being more comic booky. I think that you keep her. She's such a big star. She doesn't have anything much on her slate. She's purposely said that she's taking a break, even though she has like a movie coming out soon, but it's like a small one. So she doesn't have any big movies coming out soon. So I could definitely see her like maybe leaving the space open to return as the character because she was having so much fun as the character. So I definitely think he should bring. If you're gonna bring everybody back, bring back Margot Robbie.
Okay. Here's what I think. You're wrong. No. No, here's what I think. So it is a double-edged sword in the fact that, one, we were just talking about budgets. If you do get Margot Robbie back, it will make the budget a lot higher.
$10 million.
At least. Two, now that we're going younger, because we're going to stay with this cast for a long time. Not that Robbie, Margot Robbie's old by any means.
I was about to say.
No. Not by no, don't come after me, Margot. You're definitely
I'm Googling
this.
it.
No, she's like 34, right?
Yeah, she's same age as me. Yeah, she's very young.
35.
Yeah.
Uh-oh. They know. Now that we're getting all these fresh castings, right? Superman, Supergirl, Lois, like everyone is new. We haven't seen them before. I think that there is opportunity to have a up and coming actor like Mia Goth play a Harley Quinn. And
you auditioned for it. If you haven't seen Infinity Pool, that's Harley Quinn.
It's true. Blade ain't happening. So, you know what I mean? So I think, and that's just off the top of my head. I've wanted her for a while, actually. After I saw Pearl, I thought she was just really it felt very Harley Quinn in some ways to me. The insanity of it all. I think she plays it really well. But she has like this like vulnerable part of her. So I'm just even talking about her as a potential. I'm like, Margot was great. Did you give her a great solo movie? Like, not as good as I thought it could be. I think Birds of Prey is underrated in some ways. I think there's a lot of people that hate on it way too much, especially with her performance. And, this scene alone in the jail scene reminded me of like when Terminator and Terminator 1 in the prison, in the PD, police department scene. It was very reminiscent of that to me, just going to the police department, just destroying them. So, that being said, she's had some great moments, and she is the first live action on the big screen representation of arguably one of the most iconic Batman villains of the past 35 years.
Yeah.
And so I think that was fantastic. So I would say if it happened today and they said Margot Robbie is carrying over, I'd be like, fantastic. Let's go. If it didn't happen and they said Mia Goth or someone else was going to take over, I'd be like, let's go. So I don't really see it being I see it being a win-win situation. You know what I mean? Either way that they go. But I think you're right. I think she is so adaptable, Margot Robbie, as Harley Quinn, that she can fit into this universe seamlessly and it wouldn't skip a beat. So if it happened today, I wouldn't be mad about it. If it happened in Peacemaker, I'd be like, that's a great pop. Let's go. She's back. But if they recast, I'm okay with that as well.
Yeah, I think I agree with you. And I was looking up some of the fan casting. Mia Goth is a popular one. Ella Purnell, who's in Yellow Jackets, and she was also she plays crazy well. She has a show called Peabody or something like that, where she plays a serial killer. And also Samara Weaving. If you want someone that looks like Margot Robbie, Samara Weaving looks like her, and also is great at playing crazy as well. So you have some really good actors, and she's also not going to be as expensive as Margot Robbie, right? Like Samara Weaving's been around, but she's not huge. So she's a talented actress that you can, I don't want to say underpay.
No, you're right. It's no. I think she is underrated. I think if you told the average person Samara Weaving, they would be like, who? But if you tell a movie person, they'd be like, oh, she's great. Every time I see her, I think she's gonna rub me the wrong way, and then she rubs me the right way. But
I just remember seeing her in Scream and how like great she was in her small little scene in that movie. Like
yeah,
she just is just so good.
reminiscent of Drew Barrymore's small scene in the first Scream. You know what I
Yeah.
mean?
And
And if
she
you have
has a
those
movie
chops,
coming out this week.
what is it?
It's called Eenie Meenie.
I saw that.
Yeah. It's like she's playing someone that's trying to change their life around, but her ex is coming to make her do one last job. One of those kind of movies.
I tried Borderline. It was not good.
I figured.
Because I also like Ray Nicholson. I think regardless of a Nepo baby, to make it, you still have to have talent. Like you need to be good. And so I've been seeing him in a lot of different roles, like randomly pop up. And every time I see him, I'm like, damn, he looks like his dad, but he's good. Like he's
He is good.
entertaining.
He
So
was great in Smile too for his small role.
I haven't seen it, but he had this cameo in this show on FX called Adults.
Oh yeah.
And he is just so funny in it. Novocaine, he's a great villain. I love how we're just our new Joker.
Ooh, yeah.
Ah!
That
Him
would
and
work.
Him and Samara as the Joker and Harley, they already have chemistry.
Yeah.
Dude, I wouldn't be
Book
mad.
it. Give them $500K each.
Yeah, give us for finder's fee, you know.
Finder's fee. 20% finder's fee.
Yes. So I think it's interesting. That's why I wanted to talk about it. Like, it's not a bad thing, a good thing. It's like, oh, okay, let's see what happens. He didn't say no. So let us know what you guys think. Like, what do you think of a very nonchalant, out of character response from James Gunn? And would you like to see Margot Robbie return as Harley Quinn? All right, guys. Last thing I want to talk about. I'm so curious to see your opinion. So, as you may or may not know, Superman has released on VOD this past Friday, August 15th.
Yeah.
35 days after the release. We have been informed by James Gunn that this was purely a decision to drive people to Peacemaker, to catch them up with Peacemaker, so that they're not going in blind, because it's very connected to Superman and it's very connected to what will happen next. So that's why he said he thought it was going to come out later, and it didn't happen that way. That's what he told us. I'm curious for you, what do you think about our boy? I was almost going to say Henry. Our boy David. Oh, I miss you, Henry. I love David, but I miss Henry. And I'm going to show you what I was going to, don't tell my wife. I'm curious what you think. With this movie coming out so early on VOD, does this help the film that's still in its theatrical run in the movie theater?
Yeah.
Or does it hurt it? And does it hurt the theater industry in general?
It's very interesting because Universal has perfected the method of putting a movie out in theaters and having a 30 to 40 day window and putting on digital, and the movie being still seen in theaters, right? Jurassic World Rebirth has made $800 million this year, right? And it's been on PVOD.
A quiet 800 million.
Quiet 800 million. Everybody was like, what's gonna win it's Fantastic Four, Superman, and Jurassic Park won. And it's still making money.
Love it. They love Jurassic Park.
It's still making money. It's making money on PVOD. They have perfected that, right? Where they'll put it on there. They don't do a big announcement. They just put it on there, and people will still go to the theater and watch it, and people who don't go to theaters will watch it on PVOD. But Universal has that method down. I don't think Warner Brothers or Disney has it down yet. And dropping Superman so early, I don't think it was a situation of Peacemaker, right? Because I don't
think that's BS.
Oh yeah, of course, total BS. I think it's because he knows the gas in the tank for Superman, box office wise, is dwindling. Right?
It's
It's
depleted.
going to
Yeah.
cross over $600 million. It's not going to get too far up, higher than that. Putting it on PVOD, especially at a $30 price point, because I believe that's what it's at. It's at a $30 buy price point,
Yeah.
which is a lot of money. They're going to make a lot of money on PVOD. All those people that didn't go see it in the theaters, all those people internationally, because the movie didn't do fantastic internationally. All those people internationally are going to go watch it PVOD. It's going to make a lot of money on PVOD, and that's the second life. The way DVD and Blu-ray used to be the second life for a movie, PVOD is now that second life. So I think it's a financial decision made by Warner Brothers, where they're like, move it up, put it on PVOD now. We don't have any more gas to give, especially with weapons out now. That's where our focus is.
Yeah, this starts going down, weapon starts going up. It's like,
Well,
oh, okay, we're still making money at the box office. Like we're still playing with it, right?
exactly. So let's switch the focus on Superman Digital, focus all
Okay.
theatrical efforts on weapons, because this has legs now.
Okay. I think I agree with you in a lot of ways. I think Peacemaker definitely does have a bit to do with it. Even with agreeing with what you said, I do think that they're like, okay, Peacemaker is coming out though. Like, let's get them excited about it, make more money, continue to make more money on VOD, then get that's how we'll get the global box office, like you were saying, and then have it flow into Peacemaker, so I think it was that they did get to that date and now they're like, crap, it's not at the money we thought it was going to get. Let's just put it out and connect it to Peacemaker like we planned it all along,
Yeah.
something like
Yeah.
that,
It's smart.
It is smart. It's very smart. And that's why they're succeeding right now in their oh, that's cool. This thing auto adjusts. That's why they're exceeding right now. You know what I mean? And so, but the other aspect that I think we should talk about is when you are now setting a precedent that if a movie isn't doing as well as you wanted to, and you can just take it not out of theaters, but take the audience out of theaters by letting them know that they can stay at home and rent it 35 days into a theatrical run, that is a dangerous message that you are sending other studios that will then do the same thing to movie theaters when their movie isn't making as much money as they want. So I do think sending that message can definitely hurt the theater industry a lot. And it is a dangerous precedent to set. And as a big studio, Warner Brothers, DC Studios, you kind of have a responsibility to be, because people are going to follow suit with what you do because you're such a big studio. And also we know that you're in a money crunch, which is a lot of studios right now, but Warner Brothers was almost out of the, was more, no more. And then 5 hits in a row, help bring it back to life a little bit. So I'm just saying that doing this, it sets a bad precedent that I'm scared other big studios will follow when their movie isn't doing as well. And then all that extra money that theaters could have gotten will go away. And that will really hurt theaters. So
especially with a character like Superman.
It's too big to take out so soon. Like I would have just pushed Peacemaker, to be honest. Like I would have pushed Peacemaker to at least the end of August or early September, and then you can put it, you know what I mean? Like,
yeah, people are not like begging for Peacemaker like that. Like people are excited, but people are not begging for it that you have to release it on the date that it comes out.
Yeah, definitely not. So that's what I think. I think it lends for a very interesting, we're in a very interesting time because what's happening now, we will see the effects years from now. Like, oh, now, X-Men went to, you know what I mean? Like after 35 days,
They're
went
training
to
the audience.
It will train the audience. And
the only movie that made $1 billion this year is Lilo and Stitch. And they took a long time before that was rentable. Like a long, long time before that movie came out on rent. And the same thing with Minecraft, right? Minecraft was in theaters for a long time and it
Yeah.
almost made $1 billion.
Yeah, I
So
thought it was going to, man. That was crazy.
it was
And that
crazy.
and that supported the theater going experience. Like people were bringing in chickens and they were going in droves and it was all 4 quadrants and
Yeah.
it was such a beautiful thing to see. A
Popcorn
very
buckets, food.
popcorn buckets. It was a very Barbenheimer experience that just blew up, and that is beautiful. But if we start doing this, putting Superman out early and other tentpole films, that theater stuff with Minecraft, it'll go straight to streaming in 5 to 10 years. Like they won't do that anymore. So I think I understand why they're doing it. It's clearly a business decision, as all Hollywood studio things are. But I think you need to be careful as the responsibility as a leader in the industry and what message that will now send to other studios and what you're saying to the theater chains as well.
And to audiences too.
And
Like, I could just wait a month and a half or a month and 5 days to go watch at home.
Easy. I just saved hella money.
Yeah.
Or Sinners, was out on streaming 2 months after, like not that, something like that, right? Maybe like,
yeah, it was like 2.5 months.
Right. That's not that bad at all. People can wait. I don't want them to, because that shit is so fun in the theater. You know what I mean?
It is.
Let me know what you guys think. Do you think this is a good thing? Did you even see it in theaters and now you're like, oh, I don't care. Like I was waiting. This is great for me. I was waiting for it to come onto VOD. Or do you think that, like us, we think it sends a kind of a bad message to other, companies like them and theater chains and the audience? Let's know your thoughts. All right. We were going to wrap up, but since I got you here, I had something else queued up. I just wanted to pick your brain on. Before I do, though, you want to see Henry, the one I'm trying to get?
Yeah, of course. Oh, it's so beautiful.
So even though this is my Batman, this is my Batman. I love
my Keaton.
I'm gonna hug it. I love Christian Bale. I love Val Kilmer. You know what I mean? Like there are some performances. I love Robert Pattinson. But as a kid, this was the first movie I saw in theaters. And I'm gonna tell you a little story before we leave. Where do I start? How far back do I go? My stepdad, great dad, took on all the responsibilities of my, biological dad that bounced when I was very young. And, he knew I loved Batman. And so one day he got these scars. No, I'm just kidding. One day at kindergarten, the dude comes dressed in full Michael Keaton Batman suit, rubberized suit, utility belt, the cape. My dad's a little bit bigger, so it's bigger Batman, but it was like, because Michael Keaton's like a skinny Batman.
Yeah.
But the dude comes, the kids are just so happy, like comes into my classroom. It was one of the best things ever. So this cowl, it was awesome. And so this cowl and this suit, it means so much to me. But when you live with a wife, sometimes you got to compromise. And I did not think it was going to be this big. This is like 25 inches. So we'll see. We'll see. Maybe I'll convince her. No. But that Henry is not that bad. Before we get out of here, she's already going to be pissed. Whatever. Before we get out of here, I want to ask you this, okay? What do you think of the bat? No, I want to ask you this. As you know, I guess I always got to pigeonhole some Marvel. As you know, we've been seeing the crispiest, cleanest on-set photos of Spider-Man. I wanted to ask you, my friend, I was so curious. Do you think showing all these behind the scene photos, the suit, the Punisher, the videos. Do you think that this helps the film or that it hurts the film?
I think it absolutely helps the film. Everyone's been talking about is like how he looks like Spider-Man leapt off the comic book page, and how cool the swinging looks, and how epic, and how he's aura farming, and all the little kid stuff that
Such good
people
photos.
say. Oh, such good photos! Like you could tell that they made sure to get the right photographers in here to act like
Yeah, they
normal
hired
audience
them for
members.
sure. Those are Marvel Studios photographers.
Yes. I think it's genius to do this. It gets people excited that all the complaints that people kind of had about him being Iron Man Jr. and he doesn't really feel like Spider-Man fully, and we want this solo story where it's kind of him in the city and not off planet and going to Paris and all this other stuff that he did in Far From Home. It quells all those things because it feels like this is a story. Obviously, the movie can come and he can be going all over across the world, right?
Right. Yeah.
But from what they're showing us, it seems like this is going to be a friendly neighborhood Spider-Man story. Obviously, it's going to have Punisher and Hulk in it. And it's going to be a practical use of Tom Holland, who they should be doing. He's an athlete. Use the fact that he's willing to do these stunts.
Still, yeah. Even after,
You know what I mean? And I feel like they haven't utilized the physicality of Tom Holland since the first movie.
Yeah.
And that is his strength. He's a good emotional actor, but his strength is the fact that he's such a physical person.
100%. No, I agree. I agree. The reason I brought it up is I've seen a lot of discourse online like, why are you showing so much? Why are you spoiling this? These behind the scene photos are not spoilers. This is something that you would see in a trailer. Like, this is something that has no context. You're just guessing, you're throwing things in the wind. So when you see this is what gets people excited about the movie. Yeah. This is working because now we're going to be talking about Spider-Man for a year up into the movie. They're not saying like, oh, like if you notice, they're not saying like, oh, Fantastic Four did so bad, like blah, blah, blah. It went from like, Fantastic Four is a great movie. And then, money starts going down. Check out these Spider-Man photos. And it was like, conversation's back on top. People are positive. People are happy. So it's such a smart way to like change the perception of yourself in front of the audience in real time while they have a movie in theaters making money, but also while they have a movie coming out a year from now that they want to promote. So I agree with you. I think this is a very intelligent way. I don't think it's spoiling anything. And I think based on us and how everyone's talking about it, by the time we get to the movie in July of next year, they have built in so much of an audience. This is going to be $1 billion plus film, hands down. And that's what they need. And that's what they're going for. And so whoever came up with this idea is getting a raise because it is working and the aura farming is on point.
Yeah. And I think Marvel's marketing has been a problem for 100%. All their films. I think even like Thunderbolts, they did not market that film well. The posters.
That A24 trailer was sick though.
It was sick. But I think, and that was the closest to what the actual movie was. But
and we were scared. We were scared. We were like, are they just, like, it better be as good as this because if it's not, they tricked us. And then we're like, oh, damn. I see why they said it's an A24 type film.
Yeah.
100%.
Because all the posters, the trailers, the promotional stuff of that film made it feel like it was going to be, these guys are going to fight the whole time and have and it was kind of like, it happened for like 10 minutes and then they like became friends really fast.
Yeah.
So it wasn't that kind of film that people kind of like Seven Samurai. You have issues and then you have to come together fully at the end. Obviously, they did have some issues throughout the movie, but it wasn't as extreme as I think the marketing led off. So they've had
Yeah.
issues marketing their
And-
films. Even like Fantastic Four marketing, people were like not super hyped to go watch that movie based on trailers. And then when they watched the movie, they're like, "Oh shit, this is great."
Once they towards the end when they started putting the clips out, I'm like, these clips are better than the trailers. This is what you should have been showing. And to bring it full circle, I think it goes back to what you're saying. Because if they had marketed Thunderbolts like they're doing with Spider-Man, of course, Spider-Man is the biggest superhero of all time. So it's a little bit different. But depending on what you're showing behind the scenes and teasing it for a year, I think you're right that they are slowly starting to learn this is how we need to market it to maximize the value of these products and get the most money we can by the time we get to the theater. So I think you're right in that they learned a lesson with Thunderbolts and Captain America. And now we're seeing them take action from that lesson, which is pretty cool.
Yeah.
All right. I'm gonna get divorced. No, this was so awesome. I love when you're on here. I was building it out and I'm like, dang, like this is such great DC stuff to talk about. And we don't necessarily get to talk about it as much as we should because these are such great characters. And now we're seeing the change in the guard a little bit. Who's to know what's going to happen in the next year? Who's to know what's happened, with Secret Invasion, Secret Wars and Doomsday and Supergirl. Like, so time will tell, but right now it's such an interesting time. And so the fact that we get to sit here and talk about it and kind of like really dissect it in real time, because you best believe this ain't going to be the last time we talk about these topics as we get closer to more tangible DCU movies and the Batman. So I love that, like, we'll look back at this conversation and be like, oh, damn, like we called that, so it's so cool to be able to follow this stuff. And I'm really excited to see what's next for DC. So this is really great. That's it. That's all. So you guys, thank you so much for being here with us. Drop a comment below. Be a part of the community. Be a part of the conversation. We love hearing from you guys. I love doing this with Zach. It's always a great conversation. Such great insight. You guys need to check out Zach Attack Reviews. Can you spell it out for them? I don't want to butcher it.
Yeah, Zach, Z-A-C-H, Attack, A-T-T-A-C-K, Reviews, how you spell reviews. Yeah, that's my channel.
Yeah, check it out. They have such great content, like his lives, his takes on the things that we love. So hopefully I'll be on there one day. I haven't got the invite. No, I'm just kidding. So definitely check it out. But thank you guys for joining us. Stay tuned. We're gonna try and do this every other week as all this stuff is coming out too. We can't wait to jump on it. And we'll see you guys next time. Have a great start to the week. Sunday's over. My wife just texted me, babe, are you almost done? I am.
It's the Evan edition. The Evan edition. The Evan edition. The Evan edition. It's the Evan edition. The Evan edition. The Evan edition. The Evan edition. It's the Evan edition.